So I ended up having to expunge it from my record. Even though it was dismissed, it still showed on my record that I had been arrested on these charges. It doesn't say anywhere on there that it wasn't me. It doesn't say anywhere on there this was not her and this was a mistake. It just said dismissed. So I had to have it expunged from my record. So I just thought that that was really funny. And then there was another one on there that shouldn't have been on there. It was for something else. But I think that that's really funny that the ones that he thought he was going to really blast me out there with wasn't even mine. That just shows you how incompetent whoever was putting the information in the computer was. That is the kind of employee that we get here in the mountains that will make that kind of a mistake. Where did I read that about Kim M? It's in the newspaper. It's in the Mountain Eagle. We read it earlier and I showed it on the thing. I don't know what the title of the, because I won't buy the paper. I won't subscribe. I very seldomly will even read from it or even name it because it's such a rag anymore. It's a complete arm of the predators. Like they are protecting people like Michael Clark and actions that have been repeatedly accusations that have repeatedly been made. They're not asking anybody the important questions. They're not asking anybody the tough questions. Black Olive, their reason they call it Commonwealth, the common go to jail and the wealthy go free. That's good. That's good. Exactly. The a-holes blame it on a dysfunctional social support system when in fact they're the ones who created it with the intention of it not being effective. So they really don't GAF. That's exactly right. Thank you, honey. Yes, false arrest. Is there anything else that you would call that? It's all about the money, honey. It sure is. It's all about the money, honey. I'm shocked about this fraudulent letter of recommendation, though. That makes that a crime, doesn't it? I'm no lawyer, but don't that make that a crime? That's like identity theft and what else? You're submitting perjury because you're submitting under, you know, penalty of perjury that what you're submitting is true and accurate, I would say. I'm guessing there was a box that you had to check on there that says, to my knowledge, all of this is accurate. And you know, it showed us that there was an attorney. Let's see. Let's pull that back up and see if I can find it. I'm not sure where I put it. Well, you know what? I tell you what. Let's make that our show for tomorrow. We will pull up the letter of recommendation tomorrow And that's what our show will be on then, about the fake letter. Okay, so let's just to finish this up. No parent should be allowed to abandon their child without consequence. Jonah's motion is the latest twist in a flurry of legal activity since he went public about his experiences in February 28th story in the Kentucky Lantern. So anybody that's interested in that, just Google it and you'll find it for this paper too. On March 7th, Jonah, who has been living on his own since he turned 18, obtained an emergency protective order against Matt Bevin, alleging he experienced neglect, physical abuse, and threats after he was adopted at age 5 by the couple. So he wasn't just adopted when this happened, he was adopted at age 5. So he spent his whole life with these people, under these people's authority. You know, no child can choose their home. And these kids that are abused and neglected have no say. They have no help. And if your parents, the ones that are abusing you and neglecting you, are the governor of Kentucky, who did he have to go help? You look at us and all these women and victims in Letcher County. Imagine this poor kid. Who was helping him? If he said, my dad and mom are abusing me, who is there to listen to him? It's unbelievable. The lack of safety nets for anybody in Kentucky. I think Kentucky's turning out to be one heck of a dangerous state for the common man. Let's see. Since then, Jonah has been living out of state with no permanent home, working part-time construction jobs to support himself. He also has filed a report with Louisville Metro Police alleging the Bevins abandoned him at age 17 at the facility closed last year by Jamaican authorities. The Bevins declined to respond to authorities seeking to return him to the United States, he said. Jonah is one of 4 children adopted from Ethiopia by the Bevins, who, as governor and first lady, promoted adoption and child welfare as their priorities. They sure did. You know how many children have been stolen out of people's homes right here in Kentucky? There have been a lot. You saw they tried to steal mine. They tried to steal mine. And if it had not been for me understanding the ways that I had to fight back, they would have got them. They would have took mine just as they took everybody else's. The couple also has 5 biological children. All but 1 are adults. Matt Bevin, a one-term Republican governor and conservative Christian. Of course, he goes to church every Sunday. He probably even calls himself a preacher. Campaigned on reforming the state's adoption and foster care system, which he said obstructed the Bevins' effort to adopt a child in Kentucky, prompting them to adopt from overseas. They didn't need to be adopting no other kids. They didn't. That is a perfect example of God saying no and closing the door, probably because you didn't need none. So you went and you used your power and your authority and your position to change the law in Kentucky just so you could get what you wanted. That's an abuse of power right there. That should have showed everybody what kind of person he was. Very arrogant. Very arrogant. As a candidate for governor in 2015 interview, denounced the cabinet as a convoluted, backward, broken machine and blamed one of its employees, someone with a clipboard and a notebook, for rejecting the Bevins as adoptive parents because they already had 5 children. You didn't need no more, you jack for brains.